What if I told you Jacob's ladder wasn't a ladder at all, and that this story in the Old Testament is actually about Jesus? This is Things You Missed in Sunday School, Part 7. Many people grew up seeing pictures of Jacob asleep and a giant ladder stretching into the clouds, into the heavens. But here's something you probably missed, and that's probably because you don't read the Hebrew, and that makes a lot of sense. But the Hebrew word translated ladder in Genesis 28 is sulam. And that's important because there's a major problem with that word, and, well, we don't know what it means. So this is the only time that word shows up in the entire Bible, and we have no other examples of anything outside the Bible with this word being used. So we have no clues on what this word actually is. So the chance of it being a ladder is slim. The truth is, nobody knows exactly what Jacob saw. Some think it was a ladder, some think it was more of a staircase or a ramp or a tower of sorts. Some scholars think that it may have been some type of tower found throughout the ancient Near East, but the truth is we just don't know for sure. The shape of it isn't actually the important part, though. The function is. Whatever Jacob saw, it connected heaven and earth, and that should remind us of another story in Genesis. See, back in Genesis 11, there's another story where humanity tried to build a tower to reach God on their own. They were trying to create access to God. They tried to bridge the gap between heaven and earth, tried to reach heaven through human effort. The Tower of Babel, however, failed. They failed. Humanity couldn't build its way to God. The tower couldn't accomplish what they wanted it to accomplish. Then we see 17 chapters later, Jacob falls asleep in the wilderness, and this time he sees some sort of structure connecting heaven and earth. But the big difference is Jacob or man isn't building it, God is revealing it or providing it. At Babel, humanity attempts to create access to God. At Bethel, God provides the access. Jacob wakes up stunned, and then he names that place Bethel, which means the house of God. He realizes he's at a place where heaven and earth overlap, and a place where God's presence actually meets humanity, meets earth. Then Jesus shows up and changes how we read the entire story. In John chapter 1, Jesus tells Nathanael, "You will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." Wait a second. That's Jacob's dream. Jesus is directly quoting the story, but he changes one detail. The angels aren't ascending and descending on a ladder or structure anymore. They're ascending and descending on him. Suddenly, the whole Bible comes into focus. Babel tried to create access to God. Jacob saw God provide access. Then Jesus declares that he is that access. The ladder wasn't ultimately about a ladder. It was about a person. Jesus is the true Bethel, the true meeting place between heaven and earth. He's the true connection between God and man, and that's something that you probably missed in Sunday school.